Forget about everybody.
We do a little bit over $30 million in sales.
But it's all a mindset. You live in your own world. Don't try to impress anybody. What is up, guys? My name is Luis Perez, and today we have Jacob Rodriguez. A little bit about ourselves before we begin. I started a social media page, a fitness page, grew it over 100,000 followers. I also have a videography business. Jacob, you can tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I run a Mexican restaurant chain here based out of the state of Connecticut that does a little bit over $30 million in sales every single year.
Guys, this is the Focus podcast. We are uploading these every single Monday. So if you guys do enjoy what we're talking about, absolutely subscribe. Keep in touch with us because we welcome everybody to the podcast. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I've always heard something, Jacob, and it's always
Talk to me.
It's always you should care about what people say. And I grew up with this mentality of like, okay, I shouldn't care about what people say, and I really took it to the heart because growing up, they're your parents, and you gotta trust what they say. But then over time, I started to realize that putting it into practice, it would cripple me on getting certain things in life. And I started to realize that was complete BS. Not completely, but there's some you should be able to you shouldn't care what people think, but you also should care what people think. It's so confusing.
Yeah. I think it goes both ways. I think you're completely right with that. I think it's something that all of our parents told us is never care what people think. And I think in the matter of being like having aspirations and wanting to do things in your life, that's when you should really not care about what people think. But then when it actually comes to being inside the business, it's really taking everybody's opinion to critique yourself and improve your business.
Okay, so
that's the way I take it.
So let's break it down. Let's start with one. Let's start with when we talk about not caring about what people think. What types of people are we talking about here?
About not caring what people think?
Yes, people who shouldn't care about.
Those are haters. Those are people that would be like, oh, yeah, you know what? You'll never be nothing in your life. Yeah. Oh, you want to open a business that will never work. Those are the people you should ignore. You should ignore those people that just hate. They have nothing behind it. And then, really are just trying to, make you feel bad and not motivate you.
Okay, that makes sense. So whenever you are doing something, like you finally started that YouTube channel that you always wanted to start, or you started doing TikToks, then you start having your friends roasting you like, oh, dude, you look like an idiot. You don't get any followers. Those are the people that you shouldn't care about what they think because they don't see the vision that was given to you.
And they're not putting in the work either.
They're not,
They're not putting in the work as like you're putting in the work. So they think it's probably easy, probably looks stupid, but little do they know the work that you're actually putting in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great statement that you said right there. Because so many people just find a way to hate. And there's so many haters. There's 90% haters, 10% supporters. And even the supporters nowadays are haters in the back of the day. They might say like they're supporting you face to face, but behind your back, they're talking shit about you and, trying to, and speaking poorly about yourself.
Bro, I experienced all that with my fitness page.
Yeah.
I grew it over 100,000 followers. Before I even grew it up to that big following, deep in my heart, I knew my page was going to blow up and I was going to make sure it blew up. And during that process, I was like, I'm not really getting the support that I thought I would get. Not that I gave a shit, but nobody supported me. Nobody commented. Nobody liked.
When you made it.
But dude, I was like, I know how this is going to play out. Once I get to this level, I know all these motherfuckers, bro, they weren't even following me. People who I knew weren't following me.
Yeah.
Like, show a little bit of support. Like, at least,
the
least you can do, follow the page.
Yeah, whatever.
Not even that.
Yeah.
I blew up. Everybody that wasn't supporting me, wasn't giving me likes, wasn't commenting. They all started giving all my videos likes. They all followed me. They all started commenting. They all started
DMing
writing me, bro. They were writing me like
reposting
crazy.
Your stories,
everything, bro. I'm like, no, but those you always keep that in the back of your head. You always want to remember type of stuff like that. But
100%. And I mean, I think that's a great point to see like who your real friends are.
Oh yeah,
because your real friends will be there from day one, and they'll be there when it's good. And so I think that's such great to have that type of support, and then really acknowledge who's around you and surrounding you. Because same thing with me here in the business. People are very doubtful. They're like, oh, that's not a good idea. I remember when I started selling specials here, tomahawks, porterhouses. They're like, oh, you guys are a Mexican restaurant. You guys should be nothing near that. You guys should do nothing with that. I'm just like, why not? If a steakhouse, an Italian restaurant could do it, American restaurant could do it, an Italian restaurant, and all these different types of cuisines could do it, why can Mexican food not be elevated? And so I got a lot of backlash from that. But nowadays, I'm selling over 100 tomahawks in over 100 porterhouses every single week, and they don't question that. So, they try and they're like, oh, shit, this is really good. Who came up with this? Blah, blah, blah. But little do they know is actually all the hard work that came into, upselling people, training the staff, training the kitchen staff to know how to cook it, and, really executing it to the level that we expect.
Yeah. So people are gonna always talk shit, especially the haters. You doing something because they're not willing to. They will never put themselves in that position because it's tough. Like putting yourself out there and going through that embarrassment. You got to go through all that in order to get here, and not a lot of people are willing to go.
You have to commit mistakes. You have to look through it all, the bad and the good.
Yeah.
And I think, like we were saying, those are the people's opinions you should completely ignore. You should ignore people that are just hating, that have no support, and that want to be with you at the top but not with you at the bottom. Those are the people you should not listen to their opinions.
You know what I want to talk about since we're getting into that?
Yeah.
I want to talk about, there are some people who are going to tell you things that might come off as a negative, and you have to listen. Like, you have to take constructive criticism.
Yeah, constructive criticism. Oh, shit.
Because I know a lot of people, they're not really good at taking, like,
criticism at all.
And they could interpret that into, oh, he's a hater.
Yeah.
And that could probably fall into that. You could get confused as to who, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you should distinguish what type of person, what type of opinions they're giving you, because there's different types of opinions. Say, like, you're just starting off and someone's like, you know what, I think if you recorded at this angle, it would be better, or you do better. That's not a hateful comment. That's not trying to put you down. That's trying to give you advice and trying to help you out. So those are comments that are supportive. Those are people that support you.
Yeah.
Those are people that appreciate you, instead of just the hateful comment with no feedback whatsoever. Yeah. At the end of the day, someone who gives you feedback, they have to tell you, what's wrong and what can you do to fix it. Because that's a true supporter. That's the opinion you should really care about. Not just someone that stares at you and says everything that's wrong with you and doesn't give you an answer of how to fix those situations.
Yeah. I actually heard, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I always saw your real friends are the friends who are not afraid to tell you something. Your fake friends are the ones that are always going to tell you you're always on the right path.
Yeah. That are completely ignorant. Yeah, you're doing good. And your real friend's like, dude, what the fuck is that? Like, that's not good.
Exactly.
That's not good. Don't do that. And so that's a true friend. That's someone who's actually supportive, and people who, I remember there's like this gym owner on TikTok, and this guy would sleep on the floor of his own gym because he put everything he had into his gym. He sold his car, he sold his house, and started living inside the gym. So he was sleeping inside the locker room. And, everybody was super supportive of him at the beginning. He's like, oh, yeah, man, you're doing great. Keep going. And so then, he started doing better financially. And then he eventually moved out of the gym. And then everybody in the gym stopped supporting him. They're like, oh, you're Mr. Big Guy now. You don't even come over here. You don't even visit anymore. So they turned hateful because they saw him succeed.
I saw, what's his name? I know who you're talking about.
The guy with the beard.
Yeah, and always the hat. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And so I think that's something huge because, you should really think of that. People want to see you do things, but they don't want to see you doing better than them. And so, like we were talking about with the opinions and everything and all, just really distinguish what people are saying and take it the right way. And don't get offended with the people that, hate and say things poorly or anything like that, because you should really take everybody's opinion into heart, and then obviously ignore all the hating comments.
Yeah, you decide what you want to do with that in your head. Always be quiet about it. Yeah. Don't try to react. But
you either let it affect you or you don't let it affect you.
Yeah, that could be like a whole different topic.
Yeah.
Like that, we could go on that one. But who are the people that you should care about what they think? Who are these people?
Yeah.
And you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Because you're your boss. So
Yeah.
people who want to work in this restaurant are gonna care about what you say. So they're gonna care about how you view them, what they got dressed, how the hygiene is, how everything is, because that's gonna alter the fact that are they gonna make it in the restaurant or not.
Yeah. I think the people you should really listen to are obviously other restaurateurs, people that are in the restaurant industry. You know, they might not be a company as big as you, but they might do a good job, a great job. Listen to those people, take their advice. You know, I think you should really take to note and try to learn from everybody. We talked about this prior in other podcasts, is try to learn from everybody that you meet. And especially take note of people that are doing better than you and are more successful than you. Obviously, take into heart everything they say. And then not only that, also our guests, we try to take into heart every single one of our guests' opinions because they're spending money here, they're patronizing here, they're spending money, and I want to make sure the quality is up to par, up to exactly how they should have everything. So anytime a customer has any critique about anything, I take it to heart and I try to improve on that stand. There was a guest here that would come here 2 or 3 years ago, and he would have a bunch of jumbo margaritas. And I don't know if you remember the jumbo margaritas, but it's like this 48-ounce margaritas. There's like 7, 8 shots of tequila. He would like 3 or 4 of them. But you know, he was telling us before we started doing this upscale dining experience, he'd be like, "You guys are in Fairfield County. You guys should really focus on selling prime quality ingredients, salmon, tuna. Focus on the fish. Focus on the meats." And you know, at the beginning, we were like, you know, I don't think that's our niche. I don't think that's gonna do well for us. And look at us now. That's all we do. We all sell steaks. We all sell a lot of seafood. And so it kind of elevated us to the next level and honestly brought our whole company to the next level. And people take us much more seriously because of it.
Did he change you guys' opinions about the jumbo margaritas?
No, he was upset about getting rid of the jumbo margarita. That was our. It's just we got so many complaints. See, this is great because you're talking about it. Oh, it's so expensive. Blah blah blah. The jumbo margarita is so expensive. It was a $45 margarita. But you gotta think about it. It had 7
huge.
shots.
It was humongous.
7 to 8 shots of tequila inside of it. So just imagine a $45 margarita that should have honestly cost like $70, $65, $70. And we were charged $45, and people were just like, "It's too expensive." So you know what we did? We took it off the menu. We prohibited it. We're not gonna sell it anymore. It's too many complaints. You know, we're gonna adjust to what our guests like, and so we stick to small and in specific locations. We do a medium size.
Bro, the first time I ate at Puerto Vallarta,
Yeah.
I ordered the jumbo. I was only able to handle one.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like,
No, that's enough, dude. It was like, I mean, you're talking about 7 shots, and
it's a lot.
when we were serving the jumbos, we didn't even use jiggers, which was the worst part. So imagine we were probably pouring it for like a whole minute of just liquor, and so you know, obviously that's not going to be up to par with our
Holy
guests,
crap.
and you know, that's so funny that you say that because sometimes I feel like I'm not advancing as much in my business as I should, and I look back to just 2-3 years ago when I was doing all that stupid stuff. And so I'm like, wow, really, the company has changed from 360. And so I love that you said that because I mean it's changed the full 360 this last year and a half, 2 years, and so I mean we're still gonna keep changing every single year as well. A whole year ago, even like 7-8 months ago, I didn't even have an HR department, and now I have a whole HR department.
Oh, you didn't have an HR department?
No, dude, the HR department was me. And so,
you guys did all that.
it's like we made the decisions on someone was hired, someone was fired. And so then we hired somebody who was, Gladys, as you know, she's in charge of HR. And, you know, it's kind of taken our company to the next level of professionalism.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so those are the people's opinions you should really, you know, listen to. People that are in the industry and want to see you do better. That's why the restaurateur that came over here and gave me that advice, he said that because he wanted us to do better. He wanted us to do more sales. He wanted us to be a striving restaurant here in Fairfield. And so, you know, that's great. That's someone who's supporting you in some way. He might be critiquing you, but he gave me the answer of how to fix my mistake.
Yeah.
So that you should do the same thing. If someone's trying to do the same thing to you, you know, critiquing you, but giving you the answer on how to get better, those are the people you should really listen to their opinions.
You know, other people that I would say that you should care about what people think is like your first impression. And by what I mean by first impression is usually when I go to places, I try to dress good, smell good, look good. because that first impression is what is people treat you differently. I know you shouldn't treat anybody differently, but people are gonna
Off the
do
way
it.
they
Anyway.
look, yeah.
People are gonna do it,
Yeah.
and I know that from experience. So ever since I started to change how I enter places, people see it differently. People respect you differently. Bro, everyone starts to look at you. As soon as you open the door, people are looking at you. They're starting to analyze you. They're starting to put you on this little meter of how am I gonna treat this guy? And before, when I didn't really care, they were like, you could just tell like the respect. They were like,
This
but
is a recent change with you, right? This is pretty recent for you that you started dressing nicer and everything like that, or no?
well, I used to more often, not as often as I do now.
Yeah.
But
You
before,
don't do
yeah,
it much more now,
before
right?
it was like the special occasions.
Yeah, now you're consistent.
Now it's
Every
way more
day.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's way more consistent.
And no, I think that's completely. I think you're talking facts right there. I think your first impression is super important, especially because we're young. We're young entrepreneurs. So what happens with that? People don't take young people seriously.
No.
Especially people that are very successful in life. So it's very rare that you'll find a young successful person. But typically everybody's going to be older than us, and they look at you as less in some type of way. They don't take you as seriously. That's what I mean to say. And so I think having like looking sharp, you know, dressing correctly, having good hygiene, smelling good, looking fly really gets you a lot of respect in one way or another. So I think people really appreciate it, and I think it goes well for everyone as well. And
Yeah.
luckily for me, I'm only 21 years old, but I look much older than my age. So I get people say, oh, you're 27, 28. I've even had like 30-year-olds, which I'm not proud of, you know, but still, but they say it's because of the form that the way I hold myself. So I don't say, you know, dumb comments. I'm very respectful, very educated. I like to listen before I speak, you know, so people really think I'm much more mature. Well, I am more mature than people my age, but still,
Yeah.
I hold myself to a higher standard as
I
well.
know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but and that's good, dude, because we need to distinguish ourselves from other people. Like the other day, remember when we went to Fox 20? Was it Fox
Fox 61,
Fox
yeah.
61. We went to go do a segment at Fox 61,
Yeah.
and then afterwards we went to the breakfast.
Yeah.
Immediately that we walked in there, bro, everyone was like,
Yeah.
they can smell the sharks. The sharks are in here, brother. Like I'm telling you guys, if you dress
Halloween,
good
yeah.
and you carry yourself good, trust me, everyone's gonna break down. They're gonna wonder who are these people.
Well, they're surprised. They see two guys in suits at 10 a.m. inside a coffee shop, and they're like, "What the fuck? What are these guys doing?"
You know, these aren't regular people.
These
Who
are not
these
regular
guys?
people.
People start to think, bro. Like you gotta. It's the way that you move in life. One of the reasons as to why I like to dress a lot now too is because it's a manifestation thing. I like to picture the best version of myself.
Yeah.
And what's the best version of myself look like? What does he eat? What does he look like? How does he act? How does he walk? How does he do everything? And those are the things that I could change right now.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I can implement now, even though I don't have the financial things that I want successfully, but I could change that little details. Like
And
boom.
you don't have to ball out. You don't have to go spend
No,
thousands of dollars
it's
on a
not
suit.
that. No, yeah.
So
but you could
it's
only-
like you're spending, you know, $30 on a shirt. It's a dress shirt, so
Yeah.
you look much more professional, much more formal that way.
yeah. No, but
Exactly.
the whole point is to
Manifest it for the future.
exactly. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm already that person.
Yeah.
The other thing will come over time, but
Yeah.
carry yourself correctly.
I mean, I was very blessed at a young age that my parents put me in private school in Catholic school since I was young. So, I mean, one of the first things they teach you is that you wear your uniform.
Oh, yeah.
And so in middle school and high school, you would have to go to school with your white shirt or any dress shirt, your khaki pants, dress shoes, and a blazer every single day to school.
Blazer.
Every day
Damn.
every day to school. But you know, I didn't really think about it too much until now that I'm older.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, they really taught you how to look professional and how to and a tie. You would have to wear a tie every day as well.
Really?
So they're very strict with that. And, you know, I didn't think about it till now of how professional that makes you look. And even though we were still young, we were middle schoolers, high schoolers, we stand out because we look much more formal. And, you know, that's part of education right now is how to learn how to dress. And, you know, dressing a specific way is going to help you get respect, as Luis was saying. So if you show up to a business meeting in a graphic tee and ripped jeans, you're not gonna get as much respect as if you're wearing a dress shirt and some dress pants.
Yo,
and a
let's be
blazer.
clear about that because you can get away with that
Yeah.
if you're already at the higher level.
Exactly.
You gotta know what level you are in.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like you said, when you're the top, it doesn't matter how you're dressed.
You
Doesn't
can
matter.
do whatever. Nah, there
Doesn't
you can do
matter.
whatever you want. I'm pretty.
I saw this TikTok the other day. It's like, if you're literally trying to look for the person that makes the most money in a meeting room, look for the person that looks the least professional, because those are the person that has had to put the most work in out of everybody, so that people that work for him wear suits while he can wear whatever he wants.
Yep.
And so I think it's completely true. People have really have to hold themselves to a high standard. But I mean, once you made it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
You're not Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
You see that guy?
Yeah, Adam
He does-
Sandler dressed like a homeless
Bro,
guy,
he does
dude.
not give a fuck about nothing.
Yeah.
He just like.
And he has hundreds of millions of
Yeah,
dollars.
he doesn't care. He's like chilling. Man,
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to like really people's opinions and like Luis was saying, first impression, I think people really, one of the things that I get as compliments, for example, when I speak to people is like, oh, you're so well spoken for such a young person. And, that's a skill that is taught. Like, you have to learn that skill.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not something that you just inherit. At least not for me. I wasn't always a well-spoken person. But it's just kind of like, avoiding saying swear words, speaking professionally, thinking before you say something, before something comes out of your mind, out of your mouth. And then, listening to people. You should always listen to people and not just try to be egotistical and just take all the time for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to really give people the respect, and listen to what they're saying as well. So, I mean, they call that maturity, no? And so one of the biggest compliments I get is like, oh, you're so mature for your age. Wow. Why is that? And it's because, I've had to adjust to those things in these last couple of years in my professional career.
That's good.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Shoot, what else? So we
Talk about your social media, man. What opinions that you should listen to in your social media,
Bro.
that are supporters, that you should really listen to?
like some of the things. Okay, I mean, when I started my social media page, no, after I actually blew up,
Yeah.
the stuff that's on there aren't for the weak. People would say some crazy. You've seen some crazy comments on
there's
there,
a lot of comments.
but you can't. I never cared about any of that. I'm not the type of person who listen. I don't know. I don't
But
get.
I'm talking
affected.
about top positive opinions that you should listen to in social media.
What do you mean?
Like either comments from another influencer or, critiques inside your comment section. What opinions do you listen to in the social media side?
So typically, people who were at my level or better, because those are the people that you're showing them. You know, it's like right now, you wouldn't listen to somebody who's not making 10,000. If you want to make $10,000 a month, you wouldn't go to somebody who's not making $10,000 a month. You're
Yeah.
gonna listen to somebody who's either at that level or way higher.
Exactly.
So I always looked for that. It was like, okay, where are you at? Unfortunately, that's how it is. Where are you at? Okay, boom. You're either at my level or you're at the level I want to get. And those are the people who I would usually listen to because that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Can you give us an example of, the feedback you got from people that were higher than you or at your level that you really implemented into your social media?
Who's the guy who died recently in the fitness community? He was super shredded.
Did he actually die? John Skywalker? Or no, not that guy.
No. He was, bro, alien chest?
Yeah, no, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. I forget what
What's
his name is.
He reached out to me.
He reached out to you?
Yeah, he
Really?
reached out to me. I think I'll show you messages.
Yeah.
He reached out. He's like, oh, dude, you're doing good. Because I mentioned him in one of my posts. I was saying, like, oh, natty or not. And then
Yeah.
he's like, oh, dude, I love what you're doing. Keep it up.
No,
That's
great.
one of the things. Also, Sergio. I don't know if you guys know who Sergio is. He lives in Spain. He's a super ripped dude. He's, like, huge.
He's part of Gymshark, right? Or no?
Nah, bro. He's
His
been on
own
some
brand?
movies. He was in the Avengers movies.
Oh, shit.
And he reached out to me. He wanted me to do some of his videos, and I did some of his videos. He
Wow.
sent me some of the content, and I edited.
Yeah.
And he posted it on his page.
But did they give you any feedback, like any opinions about your page and what
It
you could
was
do
never
better
like
or nothing?
feedback. It was more like I guess feedback. Yeah, they always said like, dude, they love the aesthetic of the page. I always got that like, oh, I like the dark look. How do you do that? How do you color grade? That was the number one thing. Always like,
So you
how do you
really
do that?
didn't get feedback. You got more
It
support,
was
if anything. It was
everything.
more like
Yeah,
positive support
yeah.
because no one really critiqued what you were
Yeah,
doing.
it
They
was
were
it was never
just
criticism like, oh, you should do this.
criticism.
It was
Yeah.
never that. It was always like good feedback.
That's good to know. I mean, it's interesting that you start blowing up, and then people even higher than you are asking you what you do instead of the other way around, where you should really be asking someone that has millions of followers what they do. And so I think that's really interesting that you say that.
That gets me thinking too, because you never know. It could have been differently if I met them in person. Like, oh, you could do that. I don't know.
You see how that's interesting? Like you said that. I personally disagree with something that you said. It's like, oh, I should only listen to people that are like on top of me or like above me. And something that I kind of disagree with you on that is that like there's very smart people that maybe aren't doing as well, and they have the right ideas. They
It
just
depends
don't.
on the opinion.
They
Though.
just don't.
It depends on what they're saying.
Yeah, they just don't really. What's it called? They don't complete it. They don't do it.
Yeah.
And so, like for example, the guy that messaged you that has millions of followers, the fitness influencer that died, he reached out to you, and you're a smaller influencer compared to him.
Yeah.
So, but he still learned. He wanted to learn from you. Like, oh, how do you do these videos? I love your videos. Blah blah blah. And so I think that's one of my things is, for me at least, is that I should always try to learn from everybody, even if they're smaller. And I think so many people are so smart and so intelligent, and you can learn something from everyone. But like we talked in the last podcast, people are lazy. People aren't willing to do the work.
Yeah.
People aren't willing to grind. People aren't willing to do all the stuff to really be successful. And it's sad to see so much talent go down the drain.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I feel like a dickhead.
No. I mean, it's a good perspective, but I mean, at the same time, I think we should always be open to
Yeah. No, of course,
to
of
people
course.
up and coming,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, because they might even pass us and be more successful than us, and so you never know. At least that's my opinion.
I feel like I never really had the right people around my life growing up, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why I think of it really differently.
Yeah,
I never really had those. I wouldn't say bright, but I'd say more of like people who took action,
ambitious people.
ambitious people. So
Yeah,
have you ever had a lot of people like that? Well, obviously.
I mean, I kind of. Luckily for me, I'm very blessed with the way
Yeah.
I grew up. Obviously I had my issues. My parents are divorced. It wasn't a nice divorce, anything like that. But it was kind of the people I was surrounded with at the time of my hardships. I had my best friends, and they were supportive of me 100%. They might not be, maybe the most ambitious or anything like that, but I had that support always that I could count on them. And, till this day, I know I could count on them with anything. But the thing is like, really, it's not really about the people that you're surrounded with, but it's the people that you surround yourself with. So it's kind of like, okay, these are the people that I already have right now. I'm okay with that. It's like, no, you know what? I have this friend group, but you know what? I'm gonna go meet this guy. I'm gonna talk to him and become his friend. So just kind of like that's helped me become a little bit more ambitious. And then whenever I have a question, I go up to them and I just ask them. And that has helped me in so many situations where I just don't be scared of asking questions and having people's opinions, because like one thing that I do is like, oh, I have a landlord. My landlord owns properties all over the state or all over the country. He does hundreds of millions of dollars in sales, I ask him, how'd you do it? What steps should I take? And so maybe he won't be able to give me any feedback right there and then, but most of the time, the people that are very successful in life are very, very intelligent. They'll tell you exactly what you have to do. It's up to me whether I listen or no or not. So it's like that's one thing that I think I am very strong on is like I just ask people, straight up what their opinion is and kind of try to improve on that. So, that's something that I do. I kind of try to surround myself with a new crowd. And even then, I'm not the best at doing that, but even then, I try to connect with everyone I can. So, it doesn't hurt. The more people it doesn't hurt.
Of course. Yeah. What else do we want to talk about? No, I think that covered
I mean,
Majority
I
do.
would love to talk about, how to deal with getting a lot of negative opinions. So it's just kind of, I think I'd like to talk about it, at
It's
least
gonna be a
from my
tough one.
business wise,
Yeah.
because, it's super unmotivating when you get negative opinions, especially from people that you love. And then what do you do from there? Do you go cry in a hole and get depressed, or do you strive through that? And
Hmm.
so one thing that I did for me was I kind of used the hate as a motivator. So,
Yes.
when I was younger, I
Yes.
was a
Yes.
overweight kid. I didn't really feel like I was meant for anything in life. And then in life, I got fit, I got lean, I became a businessman, and boom, I shut the haters up.
Hmm.
The thing is, like, you should really not care what people think, and then through those hardships, really hold on to the people that you have close to you. I remember I would deal a lot with my mom. My mom, I have a very loving mom, and whenever I had some people that would just hate for no reason, I'd go to my mom, and maybe sometimes I cried. Sometimes I cried
Hmm.
because it really hurt your feelings, and it's okay because those things are gonna hurt. But it's just kind of, how do you get through it? What's the next step?
Yeah.
Are you gonna let that stop you, or are you gonna grow? And so what I did was I just kept growing. And I'm still not to where I want to be, and I'm not even close to where I want to be, but I know one day it's all going to pay off.
Yeah.
And it's already starting to pay off.
Hmm.
I've luckily, thank God, I'm very blessed, and I run a $30 million company, but I'm not going to stop till that's 100 million. I'm not going to stop till that's a billion,
Hmm.
And so those are my goals and ambitions.
So that's easier said than done. Well, in the beginning, like once you start getting those types of criticism, they're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt you, and then over time, it's like you start to get stronger. Because
Yeah.
it's like, how old were you when you started to get like that
I
type of
mean,
criticism?
I started at a young age, even like being insecure about my body because I
Hmm.
got hateful comments because I was, I had boobs, I had man
Yeah.
boobs, blah blah blah.
Jacob was fat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
You're
was
fat.
fat, so I got a lot of hate because of that. But it's kind of like when you go to the gym. I'm gonna give you an example. You start lifting weights. What do? You grow calluses. This calluses is to stop all the hate. So you have to do the same thing with your heart. Your heart, you have to grow a calluses around your heart so that whatever people tell you, you don't take it the wrong way and it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt you. And that's the whole point about calluses. They're
Yeah.
there so they protect your skin when you're lifting weights. Same thing with your heart. You have to grow one with your heart and really not take offense to what people say.
Yeah.
That's at least my opinion. I don't know what you want to say.
I always damn, I always learn everything the hard way, but I always chose the hard way.
Yeah.
But I learned the hard way, and I got tough, and little by little, I just came immune to all that, all the negative things that were thrown at me, and I just didn't really care.
Yeah.
Didn't really care. Nothing affected me because if you really think about it, this is you. The everything that you're going for is it's only up to you. So it doesn't matter what other people have to say about you. This is your life, and then you get to decide how far you want to get with it.
I love that you said that. I was going to say that exact thing right now. This is your life, and you decide your destination.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
decide what's going to happen, what's going to affect you, what's going to be positive, what's going to be negative. You decide. Not your mom, not your dad, not your brother.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. And I always ingrained that. That was always ingrained in my head, and that's why I never really cared. Never really cared.
Yeah.
Never, never, never.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't really stop sometimes, really getting your feelings hurt. You're going to get your feelings hurt once in a
Yeah.
while as well, or you're going to think poorly, you're going to think negatively. I was starting to think negatively about our TikTok, and be like, damn, these reels, man, these reels aren't doing any damage.
Yeah.
And then now a video is like at 100K views
Yeah.
and like 8,000 likes, something crazy like that. And so, it's really nice to see that it paid off that one video. And I know we're gonna keep growing it, keep growing it, keep growing it until it's gonna be consistently 100,000
Yeah.
views plus, and we're gonna be very well known in the industry. That's the goal. But it's just like you're always gonna have those negative thoughts. You're always gonna have that doubt. But it's just like, how do you deal with that doubt? How do you deal with those negative thoughts? You have to persevere and keep growing.
You know how I deal with them? I think everything happens for a purpose. Like these videos, I don't look at them as they're gonna get a million views or a million likes. I look at them like, oh, it's an opportunity for me to get better. So every time we film a podcast, I know that we're gonna get better.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna speak better, and it's gonna get to the point where we're so good
Yeah.
that video is gonna blow up because people fall in love with. Oh my god,
The
these guys
product,
know.
yeah.
These guys know what they're talking about. They're so good at speaking. These topics are amazing, but if you really look behind everything that we went through,
This is our 10th episode.
and it's nothing.
We
To be
haven't even
honest.
said that. This is our
It's-
10th episode.
Oh yeah, we forgot to
This
say
is our
that.
10th episode.
10th
so,
episode. Yep, episode number 10.
we've been doing this for 11 weeks now.
11 weeks. Yep.
About to come up on 3 months.
Yep. And yeah, it might be the 100th episode where we just
Yeah.
pop off like crazy. You never know, but
Yeah. I think, like you said, you should really take everything that goes on in your life as a learning step and really try to learn from your mistakes, learn from your successes, and kind of keep growing. And so I think that's a very great statement that you said. Yeah.
I wish I knew how much time we're.
You don't have the timer on there?
I took it off.
All right. I don't know if there's anything else you really want to talk about.
No, I think we covered the majority. I wanted to talk about like the first impression and everything, and I felt like that's very important. But the way you carry yourself.
The name of the podcast kind of speaks for itself, and staying focused. I think staying focused is really the end of, if you care about people's opinions or not care about people's opinions.
This is for timers. We gotta clip timers. You gotta clip this.
Yeah.
The name of the podcast, Focus, is the number one thing that you need in life. It's focus. In order to do anything in life, you need to focus. The moment you lose focus is the moment that you're not gonna get anything done. You need focus. After focus, you need consistency, and then you need the discipline. And you're gonna you'll be able to achieve anything in life with that number one thing. And that's why I wanted to name the podcast Focus. And it's not just a name; it's a movement. And later on in life, depending on what happens, but I would love to have some shirts so people could carry it around and really have that movement and remind themselves that you need to stay focused in life.
Yeah. Sounds like bro practice that in the mirror. I'm like, damn, bro, he's preaching right now.
Yo, when I first came up with Focus,
yeah,
that's when I came up with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I always viewed it. Like, all
Yeah.
focuses. This is what focus. This is why I want to do Focus. Focus is this. Focus.
it's a mentality, it's a lifestyle, and I think that speaks a lot for itself. You know, so as long as it's a mentality and a lifestyle, and you grow on it, and I mean, it's something you're gonna lead your whole life from the beginning to the end.
Absolutely. And this is why you should keep watching, because every single one of these podcasts, Focus, has something to do with motivation for you to keep going, keep on your feet, staying focused. And there's going to be a lot of advice. There's two entrepreneurs right here. He has his own business, $30 million a year. Like, we are the right people that you should talk about. Maybe
Listen to,
to listen to. And then later on, as we keep growing, we're going to get better, and then we'll grow together, right?
We'll all grow together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we
that's
should
a
leave
good
it at
point.
that.
Yeah.
We should leave it at that.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys made it this far,
Episode number 10.
no, episode number 10. Yep. Stay focused, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
See you guys.